Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you the day's top stories, starting with the headlines. 2 people killed, many injured in Kashmir after clashes following morning prayers for Eid. State enters its 67th day of lockdown today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses distress over tensions between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, appeals to people of both the states to resolve the Kaveri water issue peacefully. Chikungunya accounts for 5 deaths in the national capital. Health Ministry steps up measures to control the outbreak and appeals to public to not create panic. And the guns fall silent in Syria as a nationwide ceasefire brokered by the US and Russia comes into effect. Major conflict zones across the country report a rare state of calm. But first, the top national story as tensions continue to simmer in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu over the Kaveri water sharing issue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today expressed distress over the violence, expressing hope that both the sides will make an effort to resolve the issue peacefully. Curfew remained in force in large parts of Karnataka, particularly Bengaluru, that witnessed incidents of arson and rioting. The death toll in Monday's violence has now gone up to 2 after another youth who was injured in the clashes succumbed to injuries. Also, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has also urged the Prime Minister to intervene in the matter and sought a meeting with him this week.
Amid the escalating violence over the Kaveri water sharing in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made an emotional appeal to both states, asking them to resolve the issue peacefully. In a Twitter message, Modi appealed to the people of both states to maintain peace and display some sensitivity. Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu said the violence cannot be justified, no matter how grave the matter is.
Such violence cannot be justified on any ground. Violence and destruction of property ultimately impacts the life of the common people. They will be the worst victims.
However, despite the appeals, sporadic protests continued in several districts of Karnataka. Pro-Kannada activists observed a shutdown in Mandya and Hubli. In Bengaluru, an uneasy calm prevailed after Monday's violence. Curfew remained in force in the city, while transport services to Tamil Nadu remained suspended. In view of the law and order situation in Karnataka, 700 riot control police personnel were rushed to the state on Tuesday. This was in addition to the 15,000 security personnel deployed in sensitive areas. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah also warned of stringent action against vandalism or attempts to disturb peace.
ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ಕೈ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಬಾರದು. ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಆಸ್ತಿಪಾಸ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾನಿ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬಾರದು.
With the Kaveri water dispute taking an unprecedented turn, other political parties also urged the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu governments to find an amicable solution.
Our appeal is stop this rousing of emotions and passions. Stop pitting the people of Karnataka against the people of Tamil Nadu. And both the state governments must ensure that peace and normalcy is maintained.
I request the people of the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu people that whatever happened in the Supreme Court and whatever the legal course, legal battle, we have to fight it, and we should not take law into our hands.
The main concern is the law and order situation, and also the normals to be restored. None of the citizens, no section of the people should feel in Karnataka that they are not safe. Their lives and properties will have to be saved.
Supreme Court in its wisdom has given a verdict on which there can be differences, but mob violence is not the way to resolve it. You are harming public property, resorting to arson and violence, which can lead to loss of life even. I think the first thing is the strictest steps taken for the enforcement of law and order and normalcy.
Tensions over Kaveri water sharing have been escalating between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu for several weeks. However, it took an ugly turn on Monday when citizens of both states were attacked in each other's territory. Both states have also seen widespread violence with huge damage to public property. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And tension continues across the Kashmir Valley as well. Amid strict curfew across Kashmir on Eid, 2 youths were killed and nearly 40 people were injured during clashes that erupted today. With these deaths, the toll in the ongoing unrest has now gone up to 78. This is probably for the first time that curfew was imposed on the day of Eid ever since militancy broke out in the state in 1990.
Tensions continue to mount in the entire Kashmir Valley as the state enters its 67th day of lockdown. 2 people were killed and scores injured in fresh clashes across Kashmir after morning prayers for Eid on Tuesday. 1 death was reported during clashes with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipora district. The incident took place when a group of protesters started pelting stones at security forces who retaliated by firing tear gas shells that hit a protester. In Shopian, the killing took place when violent clashes broke out in Bona Bazar when people tried to defy curfew restrictions. Many people were also injured in the clashes. Clashes were also reported from Bijbehara, Tral, Kulgam, Bandipur and Baramulla districts.
वहाँ पर जिस तरह से लोग परेशान हैं, जिस तरह से लोग इन मुट्ठी भर लोगों की इन हरकतों की वजह से उनका सामान्य जनजीवन व्यस्त हो गया है, अस्त व्यस्त हुआ है, उससे जो है वो निश्चित तौर से सुरक्षा बल जो है वो लोगों की हिफाजत के लिए हैं और ऐसी ताकतें जो ताकतें कि लोगों की सुरक्षा के लिए खतरा बनी हुई हैं उनको कंट्रोल करने के लिए हैं.
Eid celebrations remain subdued in the entire valley as authorities clamped curfew in all 10 districts of the valley for the first time in decades. No major Eid congregation was allowed anywhere. People were asked to offer prayers at local mosques. Helicopters and drones were pressed into service for surveillance. Restrictions were imposed on the assembly of large number of people in view of the call by separatists for a march to the local offices of the United Nations. The army, which is on standby, will step in if there is fresh outbreak of violence in the valley.
Usually associated with Afghanistan. Drones are associated with the FATA area of Pakistan. Drones are associated with South Waziristan and North Waziristan in Pakistan. This is perhaps for the first time that the word drone in a security context has figured in the Indian narrative, and this is possibly the biggest failure of this government.
Both the people of Jammu Kashmir and the government there and at the center must introspect. This may be essential this year to have such strong measures to ensure that nobody uses the festival as a pretext to instigate violence.
Internet mobile services were suspended because of the tense law and order situation in the state. Kashmir plunged into unrest on July 8th following the killing of Hizbul Mujahideen militant Burhan Wani. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, a 3-day-long encounter between security forces and terrorists in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir ended today. 4 militants were killed in the encounter that started around 7:30 on Sunday. The terrorists took shelter in the 2 buildings and were responding to fire from security forces. A policeman was also killed in the initial firing by the militants before they entered the mini-secretariat. 2 security personnel were injured in the attack. AK rifles and a large quantity of ammunition have been recovered from them. The police claimed that the militants wanted to disturb peace in the border district.
बस अभी ये ऑपरेशन क्लोज हुआ है और उसके बाद अभी हम पूरा क्लोज नहीं कहेंगे, हम अभी सैनिटाइज करेंगे. बाकी एरियाज जो हैं हमारा जो काम चलता ही रहेगा, बट ये जो चैलेंज था इसको हमने बड़ा सर्जिकल तरीके से नीट एंड क्लीन तरीके से हमने इसको ख़त्म किया. अभी टोटल 4 टेररिस्ट जो है हमने मार कराए हैं.
And out of the national capital, where yet another political blame game is on, and this time of the deaths of 5 people due to chikungunya. Over 27,000 cases of the dreaded disease have been reported all over the country, while 12,000 cases of dengue have been reported till last month.
With 5 deaths caused by chikungunya in less than 24 hours, the national capital seems to be in the grip of mosquito-borne viral diseases. Health Ministry stepped up measures to control the outbreak and has appealed to the public not to create a panic situation.
अपने मंत्रालय में भी बुला करके दिल्ली के स्वास्थ्य मंत्री
और दिल्ली के MCDs, NDMC सबके अधिकारियों को बुला करके हमने समय पर रहते बताया था कि इसके सारे प्रोटोकॉल्स को फॉलो किए जाएं और इनको सारे प्रोटोकॉल्स की गाइडलाइंस की और हॉस्पिटल में बेड्स की व्यवस्था, डॉक्टर्स की ट्रेनिंग, ये सारी की सारी माकूल की गई है। इस समय तो सिर्फ इतना ही कहूँगा कि चाहे डेंगू हो चाहे चिकनगुनिया हो, हम पैनिक ना करें।
हमने इस सिचुएशन को डील करने के लिए एक तो फीवर क्लिनिक बनाया जहाँ एक्स्ट्रा मैन पावर एम्प्लॉय की है। ऑलमोस्ट 30 ट्रॉलीज फालतू लगाई हैं जो इन लोगों को केयर कर सकती हैं। तो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं जितने पेशेंट आए उनको कुछ न कुछ उनको काउंसिल कर सकें।
On Monday, 65-year-old Ramendra Pandey became the first victim to die of chikungunya at the Sargangaram hospital. The other 2 deaths also took place in the same hospital. Both victims were also aged above 60 years. Although chikungunya is not life-threatening, complications prove fatal in rare cases, especially in children and old persons.
चिकनगुनिया एज ए होल इससे डेथ्स बहुत कम है अनलेस इसके अंडरलाइंग कोई ना कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है। अंडरलाइंग जैसे कि एक तो एक्सट्रीम ऑफ एजेस, जैसे कि एल्डरली 60 ईयर के बाद के होते हैं। हमारे जितने भी डेथ्स हुई हैं तीनों पेशेंट मोर देन 60 ईयर थे। नंबर 2, उनमें कोई और भी ऐसे डेबिलिटेटिंग डिजीजेज होती है जैसे कि डायबिटीज, हाई ब्लड प्रेशर, ब्रोंकियल अस्थमा और बाकी कोई ना कोई ऐसे ऑर्गन फेलियर हो जाता है।
A blame game has emerged over the chikungunya deaths between the state and the central government. The BJP-led central government has blamed the absence of key ministers for the situation, while the Aam Aadmi Party government is accusing the LG and central government.
जहाँ तक चिकनगुनिया और डेंगू को रोकथाम की बात है, वो पूरी की पूरी जिम्मेदारी कॉरपोरेशंस की है। दिल्ली के अंदर सफाई की जिम्मेदारी कॉरपोरेशंस की है। उन्होंने कोई काम नहीं किया, अभी भी नहीं किया और कर भी नहीं रहे हैं।
बीमारी के बाद भी दिल्ली सरकार ने हमारे में से किसी एक को कॉल नहीं किया, ना बुलाया, ना सलाह के लिए। हमने जरूर कहा है कि परसों 17 से हम आपके पास बात करना चाहते हैं इस बारे में, उन्होंने टाइम हमें नहीं दिया।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का कहना कि वो 10 रुपए का खर्च भी नहीं कर सकते हैं। अरे 1 करोड़ का समोसा आपने खर्च कर दिया, 526 करोड़ अपने एडवर्टाइजमेंट पे खर्च कर रहे हैं, और अगर कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं तो आप रिजाइन क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं?
बिल्कुल गैर जिम्मेदारी और बेपरवाही है सरकार की, क्योंकि हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट जो है वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ दिल्ली का है, तो उन्हें ये सब चीज़ों पर देखना चाहिए। जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? जिम्मेदारी तो सरकार की होती है ना। जिम्मेदारी को ही आप ना निभाएं तो फिर आप सरकार किस काम की?
According to a municipal report, at least 1,057 cases of the vector-borne disease have been recorded till first week of September. However, hospitals in the city have reported a much higher number. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here's a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met LinkedIn CEO Jeff Weiner in New Delhi today. In the short meeting, both discussed ongoing projects on skill development. Modi later took to Twitter to speak about the meeting. A setback for Congress MLAs who spent a night in the Punjab Assembly seeking a debate on the no-confidence motion against the ruling SAD-BJP combine. Their demand was defeated by a voice vote, but the MLAs refused to vacate the House till the government gave an assurance that a discussion will be allowed on it. The House did not meet today on account of Eid, and proceedings will resume on Wednesday. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav today shunted out Chief Secretary Deepak Singhal barely 2 months after he took charge. Principal Secretary of Finance Rahul Prasad Bhatnagar has been appointed the new Chief Secretary. Singhal, who is considered close to Cabinet Minister Shivpal Singh Yadav, has been placed on compulsory wait for his next posting as an officer of the state government. A.G. Perarivalan, one of the 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, was attacked inside the Vellore jail by another inmate today. After the attack, the 44-year-old was rushed to the prison hospital. The Tamil Nadu government had decided to remit the sentences of all the 7 convicts in March this year. However, the matter soon went to Supreme Court and is pending there, with the central government questioning the state's powers to grant remission to them on specific grounds. Without a quick break here, we'll be back with the international news in a bit. Stay with us.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. Let's get to international news now. And the United States today said that it respects the unity and territorial integrity of Pakistan and did not support the calls for independence for Balochistan. This was in response to growing criticism from both inside and outside Pakistan's southwestern Balochistan province on the violation of human rights by the Pakistani security forces. In his Independence Day address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had spoken about the human rights situation in Balochistan. He also said that people from the province had thanked him for raising their concerns. A nationwide ceasefire brokered by the United States and Russia came into effect in Syria. The first day saw a relative calm despite some incidents of sporadic violence. The Syrian army said that truce will be applied throughout Syria for 7 days, but that it reserves the right to respond decisively to any violation by armed groups.
A rare calm took over Syria on Tuesday as a nationwide ceasefire brokered by the United States and Russia came into effect at sunset on Monday. On the first day, despite early ceasefire violations, major conflict zones across the country were quiet. No deaths were reported in the first 15 hours.
The earliest reports are that there's some reduction in violence, as well as a few reports of fighting here and there, though it is far too early to draw any definitive conclusions, and I am not drawing any definitive conclusions.
The cessation of hostilities coincided with the Muslim festival Eid-ul-Zuha. The ceasefire created a relaxed mood among the residents, although prospects of peace have created a mixed response.
نحن مع الهدنة بس كل مرة المسلحين ما بيطبقوا القانون وبضربونا يعني ما بنفذوا القرارات اللي بيتاخذوها وبضربونا يعني ما بتقيدوا بالهدنة اللي هن بيحكوا فيها وبنتمنى الأمور تتحسن.
The Syrian army says it reserves the right to respond decisively to any violation by armed groups. The truce doesn't apply to the terrorist groups Islamic State and Jabhat Fateh al-Sham, formerly known as the Al-Nusra Front. Both Russia and the United States have also decided to establish a joint operations center to coordinate airstrikes on these groups.
Чтобы не возникали сомнения насчет того, как мы будем выполнять договоренность в том виде, как она заключена, мы предложили эту договоренность все-таки опубликовать.
Just hours before the ceasefire started, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad gave a defiant message to the country's opposition forces, saying all areas will be recovered from the rebels.
الدولة عندما نأتي إلى هذه المنطقة فنعطي رسالة أيضا لهؤلاء بأن الدولة السورية مصممة على استعادة كل منطقة من الإرهابيين، على إعادة الأمن والأمان، على إعادة الإعمار، على إعادة البنية التحتية، على إعادة بناء كل ما هدم.
The UN, however, condemned Syrian government for its human rights abuses and said it needed further security assurances before it can send in aid convoys.
The government, which is responsible for some of the gravest violations on record in the history of this council, has regularly sent note verbals to my office reporting abuses by armed groups. But it offers no possibility whatsoever for independent scrutiny.
A nationwide ceasefire has been attempted several times in Syria with limited success. The deal agreed on Friday by the US and Russia is another push at putting an end to the fighting after more than 5 years of war between forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad and groups fighting to depose him. However, there are concerns about whether it will hold. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In a show of force that escalated tensions in the Korean peninsula, the US flew 2 supersonic B-1B Lancer strategic bombers over South Korea. The 2 bombers conducted a low-altitude flight over an airbase in retaliation to North Korea conducting a nuclear test. The US has warned the North of serious consequences in light of the test. B-1B bombers are capable of carrying nuclear missiles and bombs that are able to destroy even underground bunkers.
2 U.S. supersonic B-1 Lancer strategic bombers flew over South Korea on Tuesday. The U.S. action came just days after North Korea's 5th nuclear test last week. The bombers conducted a low-altitude flight over the Osan Air Base, just 77 kilometers from the demilitarized zone border with North Korea. Capable of carrying the largest payload of both guided and unguided weapons among the U.S. Air Force aircraft. The bombers were escorted by South Korean and U.S. fighter jets.
This demonstration provides just one example of the full range of military capabilities available to this alliance. It is a deep arsenal, and it is a part of our efforts to strengthen and extend our extended deterrence.
On Monday, South Korea said that the North Korea was ready to conduct an additional nuclear test at any time.
수차례 경고하였듯이 북한이 만약에 군사적 도발을 감행한다면 체제가 뿌리채 흔들리도록 강력하게.
The U.S. action prompted China's foreign ministry to ask all sides to avoid taking steps that will increase in the region.
我想中方的立场呢，非常的清楚。那就是在当前的形势下，我们希望有关的各方都能够保持理性和克制，不要相互刺激，导致地区的紧张局势轮番升级。
Both China and Russia strongly opposed a recent decision by the United States and South Korea to deploy an advanced anti-missile system in the south to counter the North's missile threat. Both have also shown reluctance to back sanctions against the North. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
German police on Tuesday arrested 3 Syrian nationals suspected of being sent to Germany by the terrorist group Islamic State. Federal prosecutors suspect the 3 men were dispatched to Germany in November 2015, either to carry out a mission that they had been informed about or were told to wait for further instructions. All 3 men were aged between 17 to 26 years. Their flat was also searched, but details on what was recovered from there is not known yet. Germany has been on the edge after a spate of terror attacks over the summer in which Islamic State appeared to have played a key role. And here are more international news updates in Global Buzz. Brazil's lower house of Congress on Monday expelled the conservative lawmaker who led the charge to impeach Dilma Rousseff as president for lying about secret bank accounts in Switzerland. Eduardo Cunha has been charged with corruption by the Supreme Court and banned from politics for 8 years and faces arrest. The Pentagon confirmed that a United States airstrike killed Islamic State leader and spokesperson Abu Muhammad al-Adnani in northern Syria last month. The August 30th strike was conducted by a Predator drone which fired a Hellfire missile at the car Adnani was traveling in. Scores of migrants were rescued from a crowded dinghy on Monday. The Italian Coast Guard rescued 350 people from rubber dinghies in 3 separate operations on Monday as migrants desperate to reach Europe continue to make the dangerous journey. More than 1,15,000 people had arrived in Italy by the end of August, according to the United Nations Refugee Agency, the UNHCR. And now let's get you all the latest from the world of sports in Sports Beat. The ICC today refused to get involved in the BCCI's tussle with the Lodha committee. It revealed that BCCI President Anurag Thakur had requested it to shield the Indian board from implementing the Lodha panel recommendations. However, ICC Chief Executive David Richardson indicated its refusal to get involved in BCCI's ongoing legal tussle with the committee. The Central Information Commission today directed Hockey India to disclose the details of the sponsorship amount it received during the last 2 years and the commission it paid to get them. The CIC's directive came from the petition of BJP MP Kirti Azad, who sought the response of Hockey India in 7 points, including sponsorship details. Thangavelu Mariyappan, who became only the third Indian ever to clinch a gold medal in the Paralympics, will be the country's flag bearer at the closing ceremony of the Rio Games on the 18th of September. Mariyappan won the gold in the T42 high jump event with a best effort of 1.89 meters. China's Pan Chiyun smashed his own world record to win gold in the men's 50 meters butterfly S7 at the Rio Paralympics. Pan touched the wall in 28.41 seconds to beat his previous mark of 29.49 seconds, which he set last year. That's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. See you again tomorrow.